in the camera? Rock and roll? Go for it. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. We don't bite, come on close. Hine ma tov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Sorry. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. Hine ma tov. Hine ma tov. Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov. Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. What a wonderful way to start Shabbat by saying, Hine ma tov, how wonderful it is, how beautiful it is that we get to gather together, that we get to welcome Shabbat, that we get to welcome each other, that we get to celebrate and support each other. And it's just, Shabbat is always the thing that we need at the end of a week. It's amazing how that works. And because we all deserve a little bit of extra light and a little bit of extra sweetness in our lives, we have candles for everyone to light, and we're also celebrating a couple different milestones. So Robin, I'd like to invite you and your family, and Faith and Rick, I'd like to invite you and your family to come help us maybe with some candles, maybe with some kiddush, and we get to share it all together. Come on up. Or I should say, come on down. So we'll start with some candles. And like I said, I invite anyone who would like to light their own candles to please go ahead. And Faith, you want to? Excellent. We'll see if these are the challenging candles. Apparently, we only have challenging candles. And the challenging matches. Maybe next Shabbat we should upgrade to the lighters. Yeah. There we go. Say the blessing all together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. And Robin, I'm going to give you the kiddush here. And again, this is our fancy kiddush. We bless one cup, and then we put it through our fountain so that everyone gets a little bit of a taste. And so,
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Korei peri hagafen.
amen.
So I pour it in here?
Pour it. Ooh, yes, there we go. So, Robin, one for you. And Faith and Rick for you guys. We've got more. We've got Kiddush. Kiddush for you. Kiddush for you. John, you want one? It's really good Welch's. Anyone else? You want one? Cancer? Sure. L'chaim. And I invite you all to join us in our sanctuary. We're going to make it feel nice and close, even though it's our big sanctuary. So feel free to come in the first 2 or 3 rows. You'll see that they're all arranged just for our comfort. And Shabbat Shalom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahit atef b'tzitzit. Amen. It's always great to be able to prepare ourselves for Shabbat, but it's also always great to be able to use Shabbat to prepare ourselves for something bigger, for something that can have the effect that we need it to on our lives, to make our lives a little bit brighter, a little bit more meaningful, a little bit more filled with purpose. And what better way to do that than on the Shabbat, right before Rosh Hashanah, where we ask God to patach lanu sha'ar, to open the gates for us, to hear our prayers, to hear everything that we need that we don't yet know how to say, and to invite us to enter through those gates. And of course, we have people entering the gates with us, those who we bring with us into the Shabbat, those who maybe we don't yet know, those who we are very familiar with. And so I invite you to wish a Shabbat Shalom to someone sitting near you or far from you. If you don't yet know them, introduce yourself. And if you're joining us in our digital sanctuary, to type a little Shabbat Shalom to all the people in the internet land, in the interwebs. When we greet, I will just say, I should never expect anyone to sit in the front row, especially when we're this close. I have a dream of a sanctuary that one day, when no one sits in the front row, it just falls into the floor and then all the other chairs move forward. You think you can outsmart us, but no, you are just brilliant on your own. And when we call to Shabbat, we call her our beloved, and we invite her into these spaces, into our hearts, to create the holiness that we have been seeking all week long. And so we turn to our invitation to Shabbat. Lecha Dodi, come my beloved, page 22.
Lecha Dodi. Shabbat, Kabbalat Dodi, Likrat Kala, Enei Shabbat, Kabbalat, Shamor v'Zachor b'dibur echad, Ki Shmi'anu El
Page 27, we read responsively. We call you infinite, sovereign of sovereigns, shepherd and friend. We call you
Goodness of the world, eternal, all-knowing, ancient of days, giver of Torah, living source, protector and guide.
We call you Redeemer, Defender, Father and Mother, Holy One, Blessed One, Almighty and Merciful.
In sorrow we call you healer of broken hearts, binder of open wounds.
In days of awe, we call you Creator and Judge, my refuge, my light.
Fathomless mystery, we praise your name.
We open those gates, those doors to praise with a call, and we answer that call with a call to worship. Page 26, Baruch Hu. Please rise as you are able. Page 29 at the bottom, we read together. Holy is twilight, the realm of in-between. And so our sages taught, pray in the moments when light and darkness touch. We are all twilight people, beyond categories and labels. May the sacred in-between of this evening suspend our certainties, soften our judgments, widen our vision. Let it illumine our way to the God who transcends all boundaries and definitions. Blessed are you, God of all, who brings on twilight. Page 31 at the bottom.
Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name.
page 35, we read our Ve'ahavta for Elul together. You shall love the ones who are close with all your heart, with all your spirit, with all your strength. Remember these words, inscribe them on your hearts. When you love them when they struggle, when they sadden and disappoint you. Love them when they fail. See the good within them, even when they can't. Look at them and listen, even when it's hard. Be grateful for their guidance, even their reproof, when they save you from yourself. Love them when they give you joy, and love them when they don't. When you lie down, let go of anger. When you rise up at dawn, begin again. Praise them for their deeds at home. Speak to them in public with respect. Bind yourself to the ones you love, with promises kept and vows fulfilled. Open to them the gates of your heart, the doorway of your soul, and let them know you. So shall the ones you cherish feel your love, your presence, and your care. So many pages. When we ask God to ahavta, to love us back just as much as we ahav God, it's much harder to name those specific actions. It's much harder to ask God to walk the paths with us and to open the gates and to teach our children all of the commandments, because we know not only is that our responsibility, but it requires us to do a little bit personifying of God, anthropomorphizing, and to imagine God with the body to do all of those things. When we ask God to place a sense of shalom over us, we don't ask God to build the actual sukkah with God's own hands. We don't ask for God to hang the decorations or to set the meal that will lay in the sukkah. We just ask for that sukkah shalom. And each of us has a sukkah that looks a little bit different. It's unique to us. It has the pieces of us that we most need in order to feel the shalom, the pieces of us that most bring us toward shalom. And even through that sukkah, we can glimpse the outer world and know that we are not the only ones in need of this sukkah. We ask for God to hashkivenu, to place, to spread, to offer us our own sukkah shalom with whatever means God has to do that. And we will offer all of our means as well. Page 42. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo We turn to our Amidah beginning on page 48. Please rise as you are able.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atarav le'Hoshia, Morid hatal, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim, Verofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Mi chamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech me'mit u'mechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata l'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol.
Please be seated. We take these next few moments not necessarily for the prayers of the pages of our prayer book, but the prayers that are written on the pages of our hearts and our lives in this moment of silent reflection.
Yehiyu l'ratzon imrefi v'hegyon lebi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai Vigoali, Vigoali. You ratson, Imre fi, Vihegyon lebi, Lifamecha, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Vigoali, Vigoali.
Being able to share these blessings and these prayers with each other and with God is such a key part to Shabbat. But also finding all the moments of celebration in our lives that we want to lift up because we should just have more reasons to celebrate is also a key part to the way that we celebrate Shabbat. And so first, Robin, you have a birthday this week, and we get to celebrate with you by offering you blessings. So come on forward. Maybe we should have put an aisle in here. It's fine. We can get close. So I don't know how familiar you are with the way that rabbis do math, but it's not always the most logical. And the rabbis love calculating how old someone was or what year it was when something specific happened. And so, this birthday that you are celebrating is the same birthday that Abraham celebrated when he received a call that told him to leave his homeland, to leave his parents' house, to leave everything that he knew in order to go on a journey to find God. And one would think that he would have had a little bit of a sense of how he was going to do this before he left home, but it took more bravery than anyone would expect because he knew that the path wasn't set before him. He was going to go on a journey where he didn't know where it was going to take him. And Robin, as I've gotten to know you, I've learned that you truly have the artist's soul and the artist's eye. You don't necessarily know exactly where your craft is going to take you, where your study or your journey is going to take you, but you are so ready to dive in every single moment, every single opportunity that you can create beauty and art from every step along the way. You and Abraham, turns out you have a couple things in common. To be able to see the light at the top of the mountain and say, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but the journey from here to there is going to help me become my best self and my truest self. And on this birthday, I hope that you can see that the journey ahead of you is only filled with blessing and only filled with courage and with strength and with love and all the things that Abraham discovered along his way. You know that those are ahead of you too, because you've gathered them around you this whole time. You've gathered that beauty, and you've gathered that family, and that love, and that community, and that true wisdom that it takes to be able to go on this journey. And I thank you for celebrating this birthday, celebrating this blessing, because it gives us a chance to see our blessings. It gives us a chance to live through your blessings and to receive our own as well, because you are the source of so many blessings. And we have more blessings to celebrate. So stay right here, because Faith and Rick, you are also celebrating. So I'll invite you forward. Now, it's not exactly the same as going out on a journey where God calls to you and says, this is exactly who you were meant to be with 30 years ago when you stood under the chuppah and you just had that bright light shining upon you. You knew that it was going to take wonderful, meaningful, and hard work to build the life and the family that you've built, to build the world that you know can exist in your home and with the people that you keep closest to you. And what I have been learning about our Psalms is the 30th Psalm turns out it's one of my favorite, and I didn't even know it. Because it comes with this wonderful tagline at the end. And the psalmist talks to God and says, you turn my mourning into dancing so that I may praise you. And the way that you live your lives as individuals, the way you live your lives as partners, the way that you have lived your life as examples for all of us to follow in your ways, shows us what it means to take sometimes some dark moments, sometimes some hard moments, but to make meaning out of them, to make beauty and praise, and to truly bring that artist's eye into everything that you experience, to be able to see through the lens of a camera, to be able to see through the lens of the joy that you gather together, to be able to see that hope and to see that creative possibility through the lens of all that you put in this world because of your love. We are blessed because we get to celebrate this blessing with you. We are blessed because we get to celebrate this milestone with you. And we get to live vicariously through your blessing too. And so, thank you for sharing your moments with us, because we need even more reminders of how much more we have to grow, how much more we have to celebrate, how much more we can see all of the hope and beauty in the world, even and especially when we need that reminder that it exists, sometimes just another step ahead, sometimes going from blessing to blessing. Thank you for celebrating with us. And because you shared a blessing, and because you've shared a blessing with us, we get to share even more blessings in the form of a Shechianu, thanking God, thanking each other for being able to mark this moment together and to bring this beauty into this moment together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Mazel tov.
In case you were wondering about Robin's artist eyes, this is a Robin Laban original.
She also makes great and very warm and comfortable scarves. As we share our blessings with each other, we know also that there are those in our hearts, in our lives, in our community, who could use an extra blessing themselves, whether it's a blessing of body, a blessing of spirit, or a blessing of soul. And so if you're joining us in our digital sanctuary, I invite you to write the name of someone whom you are thinking of into the comment section. And if you're joining us in our physical sanctuary, to rise as you are able and to say the name of someone whom you are thinking of aloud.
Sophie Myers.
Thank you. 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 Thank you.
Steve Jacobs.
And as a community, we're also thinking of Margie Amster, Alan Terry Burke, Dee Bittman, Norman Block, Bailey Burke, Sorora Corva, Nella Davis, Ralph Deletto, Lila and Aaron Eckel, Susie Fine, Barry Fidlow, Arnie Fishbane, Carol Fishbane, Quentin Goretzky, Jim Clapman, Asher Levin, David Levinson, David Levy, Michelle Levy, Wendy Marks, Ronald Rubin, Jeffrey Sanders, Karen Frank Scotzi, Joseph Torres, Patricia Weinfuss, Mark Weiss, Karen Weitzman, Franklin Wolf, and Andy Wolpa. Our Misha Barach prayer can be found on page 77 at the bottom of the page. As we share our blessings with those we hold in our hearts, with those in our community, we also think of our community around the larger world who could use blessings of safety, blessings of protection, and blessings of peace. And so we turn to our little extra prayer sheet for a prayer for Israel, which we read responsively. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessing for the state of Israel and for all of Israel's inhabitants.
Makor Chaim, source of life, bless and strengthen those who defend the land and ensure their safe and speedy return home. Protect them and guide them.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu, holy and blessed one, show Israel's leaders your path so that they may act with wisdom, courage, and dedication, and that they may be unwavering in their pursuit of peace. Strengthen their hearts, but keep them from hardening.
Matir Asurim, freer of the captives, return all those who are kidnapped safe and sound to their homes, without the spilling of more innocent blood, without any more souls being tarnished by horrific acts.
Ba'al Harachamim, master of compassion, help us hold the humanity and heartache of the Jewish people, while also holding the humanity and dignity of the Palestinian people.
As we are made in your image, remind us of your ways. Spread over us your shelter of peace, and fulfill the vision of your prophets. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not take up sword against nation,
They shall never again know war. And on the other side of our prayer sheets, a prayer for the hostages.
I believe that storytelling is what makes us human. I think that's what draws me to so many of my interests, the theater, the opera, museums, because I get to observe so many different human stories from so many different perspectives. That's also what I like about Judaism. We have this core fundamental story of the Torah, but we also have all the stories that we tell about the Torah, about our own identities, about our history, and we constantly get to be writing new ones. In this week's Torah portion, Nitzavim, Moses' story is drawing to a close, and he's working on the legacy he wants to leave behind. The whole book of Deuteronomy is essentially a recap of everything that happened in Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, but from Moses' perspective. It's interesting to see how some of the stories shift when the eyes of the narrator shift. For example, when he recounts the story of the golden calf, Moses minimizes his and Aaron's role in the scandal. In Nitzavim, Moses reminds the people of the power of their covenant and says to them, Atem Nitzavim Hayom Kulchem. You stand this day, all of you, before your God Adonai, your tribal heads, your elders, and your officials, every householder in Israel, your children, your wives, even the stranger within your camp, from woodchopper to water drawer, to enter into the covenant of your God Adonai, which your God Adonai is concluding with you this day. What I see in that statement is that everyone's story matters and is an important part of the larger story. No matter age, gender, social class, or experience, even the stranger, even the water drawer. Moses even says, in the name of God, I make this covenant not with you alone, not just the people that are standing here, but also all the people who are not standing here, the people who had already been and the people who were still to come. The rabbis interpret this to mean that we were all present at Sinai, even us today. My favorite subject in school, other than music, was always history. I'm even more interested in the idea of historiography, which is not necessarily so much about what happened, but how people talk about and write about what they think happened and how it affected them. In many ways, that's the more useful understanding for us. I am far less interested in whether anything that happened in the Torah is true than I am in how the stories that are in the Torah and the stories that we tell about how we interact with the Torah influence and color our experiences in the world. We are constantly in pursuit of stories that we can identify with, of stories that reflect ourselves, of stories that help us learn more about the big world around us. Stories are tools to build identity and community, but they can also be weapons of manipulation. The thing that safeguards against manipulation is to make sure that there's space for as many different stories as possible and that we have access to them, in the language of the I-Center, to hold multiple narratives. We get into trouble if we are limited to a single narrative, whether or not that's a narrative you agree with. Being limited to one story, being unable to hold space for multiple narratives, is what creates a lot of the problems in our current society. If there is only a single narrative, it doesn't leave space for the people who don't fit neatly into it. Anything that might be part of a different story becomes a challenge and a threat. Last night, Phyllis and I went to go see an incredible world premiere play at Northlight Theater called The First Lady of Television, about Gertrude Berg, the creator of the radio and TV series The Goldbergs. It is a deeply Jewish story with many Jewish characters, and it deals with the idea of being an American, of what truth is, and who gets to control the story. The First Lady of Television is a historical play based on real events. In the play, the cast of The Goldbergs is rehearsing for a 4th of July special. The Goldbergs is a sitcom about a Jewish family in the Bronx, which probably some of you grew up watching, but I wasn't there. Created by, written by, and starring Gertrude Berg. It ran on the radio from 1929 to 1946 and on television from 1949 to 1956, and also in the canon included a play, a movie, and a musical. So it was this whole empire of content. The Goldbergs is often considered the first American sitcom, and I think it's really powerful that the first sitcom in America was helmed by a Jewish woman, telling her authentic personal story. In the play, in The First Lady of Television, the character Gertrude Berg talks about how she pitched the show as being regular. It's about regular people in a regular place. It's a specific story about Jews, but it's a universal story about family and belonging. The episode featured in The First Lady of Television, with the setting of the 4th of July, shows her family really trying to take their place as part of the American story. The daughter, Rosalie, is writing an essay about her favorite founding father, George Washington. The son, Sammy, is trying to go to a dance because the girl he likes will be there. Gertrude's character, Molly Goldberg, is decorating with bunting and making red, white, and blue blintzes. But behind the scenes, trouble is brewing. Gertrude's co-star, Philip Loeb, who plays the Goldberg patriarch Jake, was denounced in red channels and accused of having communist sympathies. And so the sponsors are getting nervous, and the network wants to cancel the show. Gertrude is trying to figure out what to do, what her best move is to protect everybody. How can she protect Phil while also protecting the rest of her co-stars? Because if the show gets canceled, they're all out of a job. The First Lady of Television is a world premiere, but the playwright James Sherman started writing it in 2023. It was horribly prescient, almost prophetic feeling to see it this week, after Jimmy Kimmel was suspended indefinitely from his show for exercising his right to free speech. There was not a dry eye in the house. As the characters discuss the possibility of being called up before the House Un-American Activities Committee for being involved in a union or participating in a protest concert, the rhyme of history felt very present. In the show, the network is very concerned about controversial personalities, making sure everything about the show feels as safe and regular as possible, that it fits the narrative that the network wants to create. Some characters are anxious that they might appear guilty by association with their accused co-stars. I won't spoil the ending because I want you to go see it. But they're all trapped in an impossible situation, their livelihood and their free speech both endangered. The character Rosalie writes a speech about how she admires George Washington. The actress, Arlene McQuaid, wants a chance to write her own speech to show how she and the show are good representations of America. She quotes George Washington's 1796 farewell address, excoriating those who would seek to divide America, and obliquely places the blame for that division on her co-stars, whose politics and religion do not align with hers. Gertrude angrily swaps the speech back out, and the quote in Gertrude's version, the version that makes it on air, is from George Washington's 1790 letter to the Hebrew congregation of Newport, Rhode Island. May the children of the stock of Abraham, who dwell in this land, continue to merit and enjoy the goodwill of the other inhabitants, while everyone shall sit in safety under his own vine and fig tree, and there shall be none to make him afraid. May the Father of all mercies scatter light and not darkness in our paths, and make us all in our several vocations useful here, and in his own due time and way everlastingly happy. Having different narratives and stories is not what divides us. Being able to be a distinct individual who can express themselves is what allows us to find our commonalities and work together. Getting everyone to behave the same way in the name of some sort of unity pushes anyone who can't fit that singular model to the margins. If we are truly to sit under our own vine and fig tree, we need to be able to express our individual thoughts and voices there. Our Constitution guarantees life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The First Amendment protects free speech. And even before those things existed, in a 1783 speech to his troops, then General Washington said, "For if men are to be precluded from offering their sentiments on a matter which may involve the most serious and alarming consequences that can divide the consideration of mankind, reason is of no use to us. The freedom of speech may be taken away, and dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. Dissent is American. From our earliest days, being able to say your opinion is American. What really is the un-American activity here?" Near the end of this week's Parsha, it says, "Surely this instruction which I enjoin upon you this day is not too baffling for you, nor is it beyond reach. It is not in the heavens that you should say, 'Who among us can go up to the heavens and get it for us and impart it to us that we may observe it?' Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, 'Who among us can cross to the other side of the sea and get it for us and impart it to us that we may observe it?' No, the thing is very close to you, in your mouth and in your heart, to observe it." Our stories, our narratives must live in our mouths and our hearts. They must be told to the world because they are ours and no one can take them away from us. We were all at Sinai. We all have a story to tell. The harder it gets to tell our stories, the more we know that they are important. So do not be afraid. Do not let your voice falter. Like George Washington, like Gertrude Berg, even like Jimmy Kimmel, be yourself and speak your piece. Shabbat Shalom.
Each of us has people who have taught us how to tell our own stories. Each of us has people who, in their legacy, we continue their stories. We continue to bring them into the world, even though their physical presence no longer walks next to us. They are always a part of our hearts, our minds, and our souls. And so at this moment of memory, if you're joining us in our digital sanctuary, I invite you to type the name of someone whom you're remembering, whether you're in a period of Shiva, Shloshim, or marking a yahrzeit. And as I read the names of those who we are remembering as a community, I invite you to rise as you are able as you hear the name of your loved one. This week we mark the recent passings of Kevin Heaps, Jerry Litsky, Selma Suki Broadbar, Donald Salzman, Myrna Hirschfield, and Phyllis Myers-Perjansky. And we send our deepest condolences to Richard Baum and his family on the passing of his father, Bernard Baum, and to Carol Saldinger and her family on the passing of her brother, Jim Mills. This week also marks the yahrzeits of Harriet Adams, Diane Afric, Robert Aronson, Charles Bellows, Alvin Brotman, Norton Diamond, Laura Epstein, Dora Frum, Ruth Gieske, Gilbert Glenn, Robert Goldstein, Jordan Harris, Betty Harris, Arthur Jacoby, Sylvia Kaplan, Harry W. Lane, Evelyn Malk, Shirley Mogilner, Joseph Ostrovitz, Rose Palunas, Bernard Rosenberg, Florence Rosenberg, Harvey Sachs, Helen Saldinger, Florine Siegelman, Kenneth I. Solomon, Rose Sonnenschein, Victor Sonnenschein, Sam Stein, Anna Steinberg, Howard Weitzman, Bernard Weisenberg, Bernice Wicks, Maxwell Wolf, Alan Yor, and Herb Zimmerman. I invite those who are here in our physical sanctuary to add the names of your loved ones and to rise as you are able. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And together, as one family, we turn to our Kadisha Tome, our Mourner's Kaddish, on page 86, and we rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yoteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon uvyomechon, uv'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalal v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmeid kudsha b'rechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. Zichronam levracha, may their memories always and forever be blessings. And together we say, Amen. Please be seated.
I think I need a microphone to be heard. Hello? Can you on the back hear me? No.
Can you in the internet hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about them. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Jerry Tater. I'm a member of the board here. And first of all, thank you for the words, Cantor. These are difficult times we're living in, and that's why I think it's even more significant to celebrate significant anniversaries and birthdays. And I thank you for coming to be with us and share these wonderful moments, because it means a lot to everybody, just true simchas. And at the same time, for everyone who's in mourning, know that we're here for you. In any way, form that you need something, just let us know. I do want to talk about, there's some stuff coming up this week I've heard, but I want to talk about, first of all, just going to mention one program because it's something you may want to prepare for. And that's on October 8th at 11 o'clock. Ruth Adler is doing a book discussion on the book Cantica. What? The 12th, I'm sorry, the 8th is something different. My bad. The 12th. See, everyone knows about it already. On the 12th, the book is Cantica, which sounds like a wonderful book. So I'm telling you that today so you can get the book and read it and be there on the 12th. This coming week, obviously, we have services, and there are services for every single age, tot, teens, adults, you name it, we have services, family services. Please join us, and if you have a friend who is not currently thinking about going to services or is looking for a place, know that we would welcome them to join us, your friends, your relatives, to join us. All they have to do is come in and register. There's no fee to join and pray. You come to pray for yourself and not to pay money. So we welcome you. Please come. Shabbat Shalom.
And for anyone who hasn't yet picked up their High Holiday badges for yourself, find me afterwards and I'll make sure that you get your High Holiday badges. And it wouldn't be Elul without hearing the sound of the shofar, without hearing the call of the shofar that calls us to pay attention, to share our stories in the truest way possible, to begin our own cheshbon hanefesh, our own accounting of our souls. And so as we continue to ask God to patach lanu sha'ar, to keep those gates open for us, we turn to our closing song and blessing, and I invite each of you to rise.
The words are patach lanu sha'ar, open a gate. The English is open the gates. There we go. Adonai shomea teruah. Amen. Tkiah. Shivarim teruah. Tkiah. Bishaberach avotinu v'imotinu, may the one who blessed our ancestors bless us as we hear the call to holiness, we hear the call to story, as we hear the call to become our best selves in this new year. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless us on this Shabbat and next Shabbat and every day in between. And together we say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom.